I got my fluffy socks on, my reading t-shirt on, glasses on. Let's do this shit. Hello darlings, welcome to my channel again. I love books, so I'm gonna talk about books, and I'm gonna talk about the specific book series that I've been loving ever since I was a kid. And it's standing over there, all of the books. You can't read it because it's way too far away for you, but I'm gonna tell you what it is, and it is the Belgariad. Now, it doesn't say the Belgariad on here, and that's because I'm reading them in Swedish, and in Swedish it's not called the Belgariad, it's called Sagan om Belgariad, and that's why it says Sagan om Belgariad instead of the Belgariad. I read it as a kid in school, and I was not like the other kids who read Harry Potter and those kind of books. I found books in my school library that I thought were very interesting. So I found this book. The book is The Belgariad by David Adings. I forgot his name, David Adings. I found a lot of his books in my school library. So I saw this one and I thought like, well, this one sounds interesting. I'll read it. So I did read it. And I read the whole series. Because there's actually 2 book series. There's the first one, and then there's the second book series. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't actually like the second book series that much. It's not terrible, it's not super bad, it's not as good as the first book series. People always had Harry Potter was the thing that got me into reading, and it's my childhood and everything. To actually say it, I've never read Harry Potter. I read 1 book of the Harry Potter series. I sort of like Harry Potter, but I sort of don't like Harry Potter. I have a lot of problems with it. I'm not saying it's bad, it's not bad, it's far from bad, and J.K. Rowling is a good author and everything. She is good and the story is good, it's just I have a lot of problems with it, and I found it boring because of one reason, and that's because of Harry Potter himself. The whole book series are about. So if you don't like the head character, then it's hard to love the rest of the book series and the films. But I do like them, and it's not like I hate them. I wouldn't read them, I wouldn't watch the movies. I just don't like it as much as everyone else do. But this one is the one, my Harry Potter for me. This is the one I can read anytime really. I reread this less than 2 weeks ago, and I want to read them again. That's how much I love this series. The Belgariad is a book about a young lad who lives on a farm, but then he has to suddenly go out in the world, and with his aunt, yes, it's called aunt in English, his aunt Poe, he has to go with her and this old man called Uncle Wolf, I think, in English. It's called the same thing in Swedish. But he has to go with them to get something back that has been stolen. And he meets other people, and he has no clue what's going on. He has no clue who these people are. He only knows his Aunt Poole. However, he starts to suspect that she's not the person she has claimed to be to him. I like it because it's a very good story. The writing can be a little bit boring, but I usually don't like going on the writing too much. I like going on how I feel about the story, and when it comes to this story, I cannot put these books down. Because the story just pulls me in, and even if I read these books over and over again, I still want to know what happens at the end. It's just some sort of magical string that pulls me in, you know. I kind of like the characters a lot because there are so many different kinds of characters, and no, I don't really hate any of them actually. I usually hate one character so much, but even those people that you're supposed to get annoyed with and you're supposed to hate, I can't do that because they're so well written. I don't hate a character for what they do in the book. I usually hate a character for how they're being written. As I said, the writing can get a little bit boring. He I don't know, he describes a lot of things, and I'm a person who, if you describe too much of a thing, then I get bored, basically. Yeah, I wanted to do a book review, or at least talk about books, and that's why I made this channel from the beginning. And this is also why I made my Instagram, because I want to be able to talk about books and cosplays, pretty much, because those are my two hobbies. I do writing as well, and I might talk a bit about my writing and stuff, but currently books and cosplays are gonna come up. David Eddings, he's a little bit hit and miss. You might like them, you might not like them. You might find all of them interesting that he's made. You might not find any of his books interesting. It's very hit and miss. If you're a fantasy lover and you have run out of fantasy books and you want to read something old and something that I consider a classic, maybe not other people do, but I consider a classic, then this book, I think you should pick it up, at least the Belgariad. You don't have to pick up the rest of the books, the rest of the book series, the other book series. You don't have to do that. Pick up this one. But just remember, guys, these thoughts are my personal thoughts. You don't have to agree, you don't have to feel the same, you don't have to feel like I'm pushing down and saying like, this is a great book and you have to read it. No, it's just one of my favorite books, and it would be very nice if more people read it, so I can talk to people about this book, because it's amazing. But yeah, I think I got everything I wanted to say about these books, and it's gonna be very rambly, and I'm very sorry about that, but when you're passionate, you're passionate. But thank you so much for watching and staying with me for this rambly and probably very awkward video again. I'm very sorry for that, but this time I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll see you if I ever make something more.